our working group was set up in three years plus ago. For the last 3 years plus, we are trying to work on the potential for listing the new villages in Malaysia, for the recognition of the process as part of the path for bringing into the independence. So with that, we hope that we can have the recognition from the state government and then the national government, and with the history of all this conflict between the British colonial government together with Malaysia, emergency, and Cyprus and Kenya, as they mentioned, right? It can be just one of the potential for UNESCO listing. So with that, everyone is working towards the area. Like Carl actually mentioned, different portion of Malaysia is actually suffer different level of crisis. And because of that, state in Malaysia, land is a state matter. That's why today we are going to get some interview session with the residents from Papan as well as a Pusing. So though these two areas are actually a black area. So with that, I hope that the Imperial War Museum representative, Carl, Megan, and Emma, they have a better picture to represent Malaysia as an overall story. You know what kind of effort, what is good and what is not so good during the periods, and what have we learned, and what is really important is a lesson learned in the past, and how we can learn from the past history and move forward for the better Malaysia for us. As an ICOMOS Malaysia member and the ICOMOS International Expert member for Heritage City, Town and Villages, for me, as my role to make sure all these heritage are actually protected to some extent and well made known and recorded properly. New village within the old town. So old town already with the facility, so the new villages mainly insertion of the houses. So, listing is a very expensive process, very lengthy process. And the history we have to data collection is a major works. So the cost may be very high. So for us to do the listing, so we have to choose the best. And under UNESCO, we always say we have to choose the best example to represent. And why in Papan is, for us, Papan is one of the very good representative of the new village within the old town. And at the same time, authenticity is there. Because tin mining industry actually go downhill since 1970s and 1980s. With this event, this particular town is not really developed for the last 50 years. So, and because of that, the sad story is economy really down. And the good story is, if you want to do listing and then looking into authenticity, this village is one of the super good example that we can actually, demarcate an area that represent what happened at the area, and then the houses and the living environment, rather than to create something new.
It's going to be opening in October 2025. We've been planning it for several years. We realised very early on that we didn't have the right sort of information, the right collections to make this a truly interesting exhibition. We feature the story of the emergency in Malaya, the Kenya emergency and the Cyprus emergency, because these conflicts all overlapped in the 1950s, and when visitors kind of can see that this coming October, we hope that they'll get a real feel, a real impression for a period that many of them don't know very much about. But yeah, the exhibition will be opening in October 2025.